This thing's not on the schedule. What's up with this?
Well, I just bought it.
You just bought this?
Yeah.
Sweet. Let's check out this sweet car. Let's get started. So where'd you find this beauty?
Facebook Marketplace.
That's where I go as well.
Yeah.
So what year is it?
This one's an 02. It's a Nissan Xterra, XE, four-wheel drive, and yeah, it runs and drives.
It runs and drives. So the big question is, actually I have two big questions. The first one is how many miles are on it?
230,000.
230,000 miles. And secondly, how much did you pay for it?
$800.
And did it have a clear title?
It does.
Score, man, that is amazing. $800. So we heard the alternator making a noise. What did it need? What's the story on that?
So the listing description was that it randomly stalls, and a prior shop had diagnosed it as a bad alternator. While the alternator is making noise, that wasn't the problem.
Okay.
Turned out to be the mass airflow sensor.
That's it?
Yep. It's a $100 part, took 10 minutes to change.
And I have another big question. This is a big one. Hoovy never wins in this situation. He never wins. Does the AC work?
It does.
It works.
Works fine.
$800 for an Xterra with 230,000 miles. It needed an airflow sensor and probably an alternator with working AC. That's a score.
Yeah, I haven't touched anything except for the mass airflow sensor yet.
That's amazing. This is really cool. So we're going to go ahead and take a look around it and check it over and do an inspection, and then I'll let you go hang out in the AC. It's super hot today.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys will be, you'll be the first one to inspect it too. I've looked it over a little bit, but you know, for the money and running and driving, I kind of jumped at it, so.
Yeah, you can't turn this away.
You'll get to tell me everything you find wrong with it.
Okay, we'll take a look. All right. So Grimes is headed to the office to cool off in the AC. It's 101 degrees today here in Kansas. It is so hot. And I can't turn on the fans because you guys won't even hear me. All you hear is so that's not going to be very fun. So I'll just sweat it out for you guys. But so just as Grimes scored really big on this thing, let's go check out Mrs. Wizard's part works that are up for sale today. Those are big scores as well.
Hey Wizard, welcome back to my domain.
You've been working hard back here. I've been watching you. You got some really sweet pieces you've got put together here.
I've been working back here. It's a little hot on a day like this. The guys are great. They're always searching and looking for things from all those cars out there with all the leftover parts. They give them my way. Which is your favorite, Wizard?
These light up. They're really cool. They look neat, but my favorite is the one that it's a speedometer, but it's a clock. It's a working clock.
Yeah. This actually is a vintage speedometer from like an early 50s Ford or Chevy. It could have been either because at that time, both of them sourced from the same vendor. But yeah, that's what that one is. It's got a base from a spindle of a transmission and access. You can get in there and change the battery even.
Yeah, it's really the coolest one to me.
This one's fun. You know what this one is?
That looks like a water pump pulley.
It is. It's off my GT500.
And looks like, what is that, a flashlight piece?
Vintage flashlight.
And a Bosch Jetronic fuel distributor head piece or something.
Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that great? This one's fun. This one just lifts off. This are two taillight assemblies for a vintage Rolls Royce. It just sets on top. So the cool thing about this one is you can pick it up and touch it and play with it and look at it. Just don't drop them. Oh, and drop them. You won't find a replacement.
That's cool.
This one, this is the fuel rail from Hoovy's Evoque that he trashed the engine on.
Oh yeah, that's the pond scum car. He drove it in the pond. Yeah.
And I've turned it into like a drag track Christmas tree with the yellow and the green and the red lights on it. Then I've got a couple others, but hey, auctions are live, links in the description below. But hey, let's get back over there to that Xterra. I'm really curious about the buy that Grimes got.
I am too. Let's go check it out. Today's video is sponsored by Mrs. Wizard's Part Works. I hope you guys go check those out and start bidding because there's some really awesome work. They're not hokey pokey stuff you find in some sort of an antique store. They're very well made. It's very cool. We've sold a lot of them already and everyone's very happy with them. So definitely go check those out. Now, if you're mechanically minded or you have some mechanical skills, you can really score on Facebook Marketplace. Someone like this who has a car, it's acting up, they have no clue what the heck is wrong. They look at their bank account and they also see there's no way they can even afford to fix it. So they say, screw it, 800 bucks, come get this thing out of my hair. And you can turn around and put an airflow sensor on it, an alternator, and have a running, driving vehicle with cold AC. You can't beat that. He really scored on this thing. Let's go ahead and take a look around it and see how he did. You can see on the front it has the Crackle Finish edition with the headlights and also the logo. Nice crackler, whatever it's called, finish. Those are all small things. That's not a big deal. The fact is, a running, driving vehicle for 800 bucks. It's got some good tires on it. They look nice. The wheels aren't all beat up and mismatched. The running board's intact. So many of these are rusted out and literally hanging and falling on the ground. It's not beat up too bad at all. It does have some faded plastic and bumpers, but guys, for 800 bucks, it actually looks really clean. Let's go ahead and look under the hood. So these don't have hood struts to fall on you. It actually has a prop rod. And this is not the 3.5 V6. This is actually a 3.3 V6. These are really good engines. You can see that it doesn't look brand new or fancy or anything. It's got a lot of miles on it. Let's take a look and see our alternator. Where is it located? You can see our alternator down there. It's probably best placed from below. We'll take a look at it here when we get it up in the air. But that definitely is making a sound you'll hear when we start the engine in a minute. It's making like a metallic noise. I don't see any major leaks or anything that's been what they call cop jobbed or thrown together or farmer repairs or anything like that on it. It actually looks all intact and stock. If you're looking at one of these old cars for cheap, one of the key indicators when you're under the hood is look for things that have been hacked, things thrown together. I've seen cars that have wiring issues that's fixed with literal house wire called Romex out of your sheetrock in your house. They get wire like that. And when you start seeing things like that, you probably shouldn't buy it. The rest of the car has been equally treated that way. This one looks all intact. Let's let Mrs. Wizard show you guys around the interior.
Okay, ladies and gents, it's been a while since we've had an interior review, but let's see how this looks. With 223,594 miles. Whoa, that's quite a few, but actually I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised today. Gauge cluster is nice. As we move up, I'm going to go ahead and turn that key off, save his battery. But the dash is in really good shape. No cracks, no marks, no gouges, nothing crazy. Very simple HVAC system. Nothing complicated there. Not so sure what would have been there other than maybe a plug, because that one's got a plug. Got a new JVC aftermarket radio in. I don't know why we need a Nissan emblem in our, well, I guess, change catcher? I don't know. Gear selector and our selector for which range of four-wheel drive we're in. Looking good. In our center section, you'll see, of course, he's got some water because it is very hot today. This seat is in looking pretty good shape. You can see that it does have on the camera, you can see that it's kind of got dirt on there, and you really don't notice it so much in person, but on the camera you do notice it. But on the driver's seat, yes, that is the side of my leg. I'm sorry, but right there below the steering wheel is what looked to be a cigarette burn. Hopefully this person wasn't driving when they were dropping their cigarettes between their legs, but apparently they did not wreck. Door cards are in great shape. Has some nice heavy-duty aftermarket floor mats, but at least they're keeping and catching all that dirt and grime that could land in here. We do see that Grimes does like to have bottled water because we've got a couple bottles up here, a couple bottles back there, but other than that, this is in really good shape. It is shocking that he can find a car this cheap that the people actually took the time to get a vacuum out and clean it up. Headliner, good shape. It's not sagging, which you would think if for being an $800 car. And looking at her steering wheel, I am guessing that the owner of this car probably was female, just because we can see lots of residue here and over here. They're probably holding it like this, and they probably had makeup on their hands, because that does appear to be a foundation shade. So, could be wrong, but that is what it is appearing to. That steering wheel does need to have a little bit of cleaning done to it. So, interior-wise, looking great. Let's get this baby up in the air and see what's going on the underneath.
So for 800 bucks, we're not going to get on here and be nitpicky and tear this thing apart. We're going to look for things that, is it worth fixing? Can it keep going? It's kind of the thing we got to keep in mind from safety, things of that nature. Right off the bat, I see Nice little oil leak that's currently dripping. So let's start from the front to back. So I see some wetness on this radiator support here, and it's actually on these lines, and it's dripping from the power steering pump up there. It looks like it's maybe the reservoir supply hose or something is a little loose, but nothing serious. We do see an oil filter. It's had recent oil changes, so that's good. I do see a bad leak going on here. Let's see what this is. That appears to be the rear main seal for sure. It's only coming out of that weep hole and dripping onto this frame. So I'll definitely let him know about that. All this wetness here is from that leak. Nothing is leaking other than that. U-joint's good. Drive shaft's good. Shock is not blown. It does have a cracked ball joint boot there. CV boots are good. Check this side. This cracked ball joint boot as well. CV boots are good. So again, all this wetness here is from that rear main seal leaking. Our transfer case is not leaking. Everything looks good there. Shifter's nice and tight. Nothing leaking out of the rear of the transfer case. U-joint looks okay. Exhaust is all intact. It's not been hacked up or cut up. U-joint there is good as well. All this here could be from the rear main seal. It's all just flying back here when you're going down the highway. Shock's not blown. Nothing leaking out of the drum brakes in the rear. Uh-oh, I see something leaking. It could be a wheel cylinder, but it's not. Let me smell it here. It smells like burnt pickles, Mrs. Wizard.
I don't think Nissan had a burnt pickles edition.
No, what that is gear oil coming from the differential. So probably a wheel seal there is leaking. Let's check the spare tire. Still good. So these are Ironman All Country AT2s. It says 34th week of 2023. The tires alone are worth $800 or more, what he paid for it, so that's a really good deal. Let's get this thing on the ground. Before we put this back on the ground, let's get Grimes over here and show him what we found.
There's a little oil on the ground there.
Yeah, it looks like it could be the oil pan, but I was looking back here. You can see the little hole. It's just pouring out of that hole. Possibly a rear main seal there.
Could be.
The front end actually looks good. It has just the ball joints, the cracked boots there, but again, they'll probably keep going that way. The engine looks like it's been serviced. It has a new oil filter on it. The belts look okay. Nothing was found back here. Everything is great. But only one thing we found back here was a wheel seal. Not the wheel cylinder, but the wheel seal. It's gear oil.
Yeah. That's it's quite a bit of greasiness on there. Looks like it's been slinging it on the tire there.
Yeah.
So, and another thing I did notice on the highway, it's a little bit floaty. Mm-hmm. So probably does need shocks as well.
Yeah, I didn't see any that were blown. They look like they were in place recently, but they look like they're cheaper brand.
Yeah, it's a little bit floaty. So, yeah, I think order of priority is going to be alternator and that wheel seal, and maybe put some goop in there for the rear main.
I would say that'd be great.
Yeah, I've done a transmission in these before. It's not fun.
No.
It's an adventure.
And with this many miles, what you paid for it,
yeah,
just get some more time out of it. You don't need to make it factory fresh again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just keep her topped up on oil and drive it. I'll probably top up this rear end tonight and drive on.
All right, well, I'll let you go back to the AC. I'll just leave it on the lift here for you when we get done filming.
All right, thank you.
All right, sounds good. So everything, all in all, really looks pretty well on this car. I also did let him know his power steering pump possibly has a leak there as well. It's something he can look at. I didn't forget to tell him that. But think about it, guys. The AC blows cold. It works perfect. If that were to fail, it could be $1,500 to fix it. If it were to shell out and throw shrapnel and pieces of debris all through the system, it could be a complete system replacement. $1,200, $1,500, who knows how much it could be. Tires, today tires can easily be $600 to $800 or $1,000 depending on what kind of brand you buy. Those two alone are worth more than what he paid for the whole car. He'll get the few items fixed that he mentioned. With these kind of cars, you buy them for $800 and they got these issues, You don't go no expenses spared and just start blowing money all over the thing. Realistically, it probably has another 100,000 miles left. Like he mentioned, putting some stop leak in the engine to help with the rear main seal, that's not going to hurt anything. This thing's already 230,000 miles. If he can get it to slow the leak by half or more, fix the other items, and it goes for another 100,000 miles, he has achieved the life of the vehicle without all the expense. If you were to have a shop fix all these things, it probably would spend more than the car is worth. But since he can fix it all himself, he might be kind of close to what the car is worth, but probably very likely he's going to be under. And he could drive this thing for another 3, 4, 5 years. This is really, really a good deal. The deals are out there. If you can do the work yourself, you can really score big time. In this situation, you can fix the safety concerns and take care of some of the things we addressed, turn around and flip it for triple your money, or maybe quadruple. If there's any other issues you didn't want to fix, make sure you disclose that to the next buyer. Say, hey, I fixed these items, these other items I left alone, blah, 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 and you can talk about the price based on that. These are really, really cool. I see these on Marketplace sometimes. It's like, oh, this is for sale, $800, and you really don't know what you're getting into. You really need to go and check it out. Really proud of Grimes on this. He really, really hit the big time. So awesome, awesome, awesome. If you're curious what kind of tools that we're going to use to fix this or any other car in the shop, check our Amazon affiliate link in the description below. We get a small cut if you purchase anything. We really appreciate it. Also, go check out Mrs. Wizard's Part Works. They're for sale now. They're all really awesome, beautiful pieces. You don't want to miss out with that. There's a link in the description below for that as well. Check out Mrs. Wizard's Way. She's got really cool videos going on, really good content there as well. And also hit the subscribe button here because there's all kinds of cool stuff down the line. More videos for you guys. Thanks for watching.